Now, what we're actually doing is we're spelling love. And the second letter of love is O. And that means we're one. You see, Paul said a very secret thing, a very wonderful thing. He said, if you get hurt, it hurts me. That's what he said, loosely translated. So if something happens to you and you are in trouble, then all of us are in trouble. All of us hear your sorrow. One kid one time, when I was in Midland, Texas, he was riding along, as kids will do, in a car, and he had his hand out the car. And somehow they got broadsided. And when they did, the car rolled, and it crushed his arm. He was only about 17 years old, you know, with all the body consciousness and the whole bit. So when I went up to the hospital to see him, his mother said, you know why he thinks you're such a good friend? And I said, why? He said, because when he went under to sleep, you were standing there. And when he woke up without an arm, you were standing there. See, this oneness, because I hurt with them, with that whole family. He was kind of this body conscious kind of guy, lifted weights, you know, going to get bigger. But now, you see, the damage was there. So, we are one. Now, Paul wrote to a church which was having a little bit of trouble, and he said, for we being one body are one bread, or shall we say substance, and one body, physical, one body, and that the body is the physical ability to achieve and power and movement and get around. We're one. We're one people. We're one. Now, I'll tell you what, I met a man that said that he had gone to a church and no one talked to him. Didn't speak to him. So he got all offended and he just got all tough about it. He said, I'm going to stay here until they do. And he said he attended 1 year and no one ever spoke to him. Except the minister. He said, except the minister, and he was at the door. He had to talk to him. Isn't that a terrible concept of church? Why would you do that? Why would you go back a second time when no one cared about you? A church as a spiritual structure is the power behind everything. You and I, as a physical structure, is a power plant. And we're expressing, we come into this building, we express this power and energy and life. Because it is God being expressed in us. So, when you don't feel very good, why stay home? I mean, you're going to continue to feel bad at home. So why stay there? You might as well just come on and enjoy the energy and the structure of things that go on here. Notice that in the second chapter of the book of Acts, when they were all with one accord in one place, then the Spirit of truth came to them. But not until they were all in one accord in one place. Now there's two concepts of church. One is personal, you know, you and God having a meeting. And then there is you and all the rest of your spiritual family having a meeting. And you gain strength from the individuals around you, and they gain strength from you. Now, actually, in a positive church, when somebody comes in and they tell you how sick they are, really they stand out like a sore thumb because you're trying to share energy with them, healing energy, loving energy. And so they kind of stand out like a sore thumb. But it's our job to heal them. Excuse me. Excuse me, Ruth. So that's as far as we're going to go today in spelling out love. If any place you go, how would you like to go down to Homeland and they just they just spit on you? You know, there's every once in a while I go out to eat, and there's a place here in town. And I'm not gonna, because we're online, I'm not gonna tell you what it is. But they have a bad habit that when they're bringing out the food to the buffet, they'll just walk right in front of you, just push you out of the way. Now that's not a very good idea, especially when you're paying. Never get in front of somebody at a buffet that's hungry. No, I'll tell you right, they're very foolish. But they just seem to think, well, if they're on their way doing something, get out of our way. See, you're secondary. But if all of us decided to stay home, what would happen? They wouldn't have a job. So church is love, and we'll go on with this later on. Are there any questions?
I have something I want to share.
Okay.
When I was in that born-again Christian group, I learned that long suffering does not mean suffering long. And a lot of people are totally, it's a wrong interpretation. They have no idea what long suffering means. So can you tell us?
Long suffering?
It doesn't mean to suffer long.
Well, it just means to stand there.
It's there, you know, if you look it up in the concordance, I think.
What does it say? What
Well,
tell
I
us?
don't remember.
Oh.
But when I saw that this morning, I thought, oh, this doesn't feel good. I don't like the way that
Long
sounds.
suffering.
You don't need to suffer long.
It's kind of like just, it's not necessarily suffering like we know, but just kind of standing in one place when everybody else is running.
I have, you know, I don't remember.
Kind of like that. What, anybody else?
My
Is,
homework.
what's your idea?
I think it's having patience with your fellow man.
Yeah. You're not ready to cut his throat just because he made a mistake.
I hope that.
Otherwise, we'd all be dead. Anybody else have an idea what long suffering is?
Well, I think we should look it up. Have a little homework.
When you get, yes, we have homework from church, no less. When you get home, look up the word long suffering and see what it has to say.
Well, there's so many different Bibles that you.
Well, look up in the dictionary, see what
The dictionary says.
yeah, see what the dictionary says. That may help a little bit. Give some new ideas. Okay, anybody else?